Hey, what's up guys, it's Fisayo here, and this is my review of the TECNO Spark 2. The TECNO Spark 2 has been one of the devices I've used for the past few weeks, and I've used it occasionally, and here are my thoughts and what I think about the TECNO Spark 2, and in this video I'll be asking if it is worth it to you. Also, if you haven't seen it yet, I made an unboxing and initial impression / quick review video which you can find with the card up above or in the link in the description. Without further ado, let's get to this video. So to get in straight, as I said earlier, the TECNO Spark 2 is a budget smartphone, and budget smartphones don't necessarily have features that you can get in like a flagship device, which is kind of the reason for its existence. So the Spark 2 comes with a lot of interesting features like Face ID and that multifaceted fingerprint scanner you can also use as a shutter button, which is normal, and you also get an optimized Android experience with Android Go, and this is as a result of what the Spark 2 doesn't have, which is enough RAM. And it just has 1GB of RAM, which is something we will note along the course of this video as well. In the build quality department, the Spark 2 looks pretty similar to the Camon CM, and you might even just call it a bigger Camon CM. And to me, this seems like TECNO making the most of what they currently have. And as I said, the phone is grippable with that back, and the addition of that case is actually very interesting as well. The Spark 2 comes with a 720p display, which renders video in your standard HD format. And I noticed that the screen itself has a very reflective rainbowing, so you have to be very careful when using it outdoors. The version of Android on the TECNO Spark 2 is Android 8.1 Go edition. Android Go is meant for devices with low specs like the TECNO Spark 2 to take advantage of Android in a way that is comparable to devices with a higher price tag. There are many light apps on this device when you get to the Play Store, and to put it theoretically, they should take less than optimal power to run, hence you're getting a streamlined version of the app to get a similar experience to a higher range smartphone. I'm going to be splitting performance by explaining the benchmarks, gaming, and overall usage of this smartphone. And as far as benchmarks go, I'm using the trusted Geekbench for CPU, and I'm also using Antutu for graphics tests as well. In Geekbench for the CPU, the Spark 2 has a single core score of 431 and a multi-core score of 1178, which are pretty much in the average range. And when we look at the Antutu numbers, we also get similar feedback as well. It's at 20,772 and it's in the lower 1 percentile. Gaming on the Spark 2 is delightful when you're playing 2D games or games that don't require much graphics, as the device tends to lag in that regard. I'd recommend light gaming if you're considering the Spark 2, or better yet, go for something like the Pouvoir or a Camon X Pro, but that's kind of way out of budget. Overall performance on the Spark 2 is just okay, tasks run in order, and multitasking is where you'll notice a shift as you can't run too many apps at once. Basically, you might not be able to resume the third app you've opened in a row, and coupled with that 16GB of storage which you're getting, and you can only use about 9 to 10GB of, you definitely want to invest in something like a memory card and some know-how to be able to expand and optimize your whole storage. However, this is what Android Go seeks to help with by providing you with light apps that use less RAM and use less storage as well. The Spark 2 has a 13MP back camera and an 8MP front camera, which also helps with face unlock or Face ID. The back camera took some good photos which tended to look a bit more saturated. I also like the natural focusing on the camera, which looked pretty interesting as well. The colors pop in the pictures, and my major qualms I had with the cameras are that you usually get some overexposed shots, which is as a result of what the camera is trying to highlight, and HDR shots require you to be very steady in hand if you want to get a good picture out of it. As far as selfies, they are just fine, and the same complaint I had in my initial impressions video still lingers about the selfies being overexposed. And as far as battery goes, this is where the Spark 2 shines, as you get a full day with battery, and standby time is pretty impressive on this guy. And even on days when I used it a lot, I still had half the optimal time, which was between like 4 to 6 hours. So heavy use or light use, you're pretty much covered in a way. All in all guys, these are my thoughts on the TECNO Spark 2. It's a kind of device that you can easily purchase for someone that is kind of getting their first smartphone, or if you want to gift someone. But if you're kind of like a heavy user, if you're looking for more performance, more RAM, or you want to do more with your phone, I'd recommend going for something like the Camon X Pro or the Pouvoir. But then again, these phones are actually out of the budget. The Spark 2 costs less than 40,000 naira, and it's actually pretty good in that price range, kind of similar to something like the Infinix Smart 2 as well. And that's pretty much it guys. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, and also leave a comment down below if you have any more questions for me. I'll be willing to answer your questions in the comment section down below. Have a conversation. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.